Hey, you're listening to the Flash Traffic Podcast with me, Dr. Anthony Tingle, and retired U.S. Special Forces Colonel Eric Lyon. Each week, we discuss developments in modern conflict, the war in Ukraine, and military technology. In this episode, it's War Weave Friday. So we talk about whatever we want. We talked about Putin's parade, drone warfare, Hungarian spies, fat Steven Seagal being a Kremlin nut hugger, and a bunch of other weird stuff. Okay, let's go.
Conflict, politics, military-industrial complex, technology, war. The Flash Traffic Podcast.
It's War Weave Friday.
Boom.
I'm excited. I'm so excited.
I am
'Cause we
highly
don't-
excited.
There's a lot of stuff to weave around.
I'm overly excited.
How about the parade? Did you watch the Moscow parade with Putin and Xi and Viktor Orban and Robert
Fico.
Fico and all the other assholes?
I call him Fico, but okay. Why did
Robert Fico?
Ukraine step up to the plate and bomb him?
They probably didn't want to kill the president of
And
Start.
you're just going for the armored vehicles around it.
Do you think they have that level of fidelity with their drones that they're going to only attack the vehicles and then
Yeah, the marshalling area, the staging area. I think Ukraine really dropped the ball on not targeting some aspect of that.
Yeah, they should have done more. They should have done more yesterday and just make it look like buffoonery.
Right.
You know, before Putin gets there, the night before, they've got all the ribbons up and the stage set. Ukraine should have just blew that shit up. And then Putin wakes up in the morning and is like, blot.
Yeah, they should have done more, in my opinion. I don't know how you let them do it and you don't whack them.
Yeah. Plus, it would have been funny.
That's
How
just
funny is
me.
that?
Well, I think what they tried to do, right, is hit a whole bunch of different Russian airports 2 days ago. And it disrupted their traffic patterns, and a lot of flights were canceled, hundreds of thousands of people stranded.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good move. Like, right, you can shut down their airspace and airports and stop the flow in of civilian aircraft. I mean, that's legit.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good move. And they shut
I
down
thought
the
that was a good
internet.
move, right?
Russia shut down their own internet and cell phone service, I guess, yesterday
They
and
shut it
today.
down themselves. Why'd they do that?
They're thinking that the drones will fly off of GSM or some cell phone towers,
Oh,
the Ukrainian
gotcha.
drones. So they're
I
just
gotcha.
shutting her down, shut everything down, go back to the Stone Age.
Well, it's a security measure. So, all right,
Yeah.
so they had their okay.
Yeah, they're pretty. Steven Seagal was there.
What an ass clown.
I actually watched the parade. Like I skimmed through it. It's like
Right.
2 hours of video.
Yeah, no thanks.
So I skimmed through it in about a half an hour. But I was able to pick out Steven Seagal. He looks like a
What an
fucking
idiot, fat slob.
douche face idiot.
Does he live there?
I don't know. He's just a giant Putin nut hugger.
I think he's a Russian citizen now. Yeah, so he used to be I think he's
I'll Google it.
I think he's
check.
ethnically Serbian. He doesn't live in the U.S. anymore. He hasn't lived in the U.S. in decades. Or a decade.
Decades?
Yeah, I think
Jesus.
he's
All right.
gone. He's like the most hated guy in Hollywood. Like arrogant, self-centered D-bag. I think he's ethnically Serbian or something. And I think he moved back to Serbia. And the Serbian-Russian connection. I think he's a Russian citizen. I mean, he's taken photos and videos of him in Ukraine, like the victorious Russians. I'm helping out the Russians.
He currently, according to ChatGPT, he currently resides in Russia. He was granted Russian citizenship in 2016.
Nailed it.
Wow, you're right.
Nailed it. What a D-bag.
What's he doing there besides dyeing his hair?
Yeah,
and
he's a Russian nut hugger. He's a Kremlin nut hugger. Yeah, he dyes his hair. He dyes his goatee. He's like a orca fat slob. Do you know? I don't know do you know this? He still makes a movie a year, for the last 30 years.
What?
Do you know that?
No.
He makes a movie every year, straight to DVD distribution. It's all made up by him. I've actually watched parts of these. They are so bad. Like they're so bad it's good. It's like you want to watch it just to make fun of him. And not because he's so fat. Like A lot of his scenes, he doesn't want to stand up. They don't want him standing up, showing him how obese he is. So he'll do like fight scenes from a chair.
What?
Like, let that sink in. Like a dude's running at him, and he's deflecting him and throwing him to the ground and hitting him like he won't stand up.
From a chair.
It's all from a chair. Like maybe he did it from a swivel chair to get him more maneuver
Maybe
or
they
something.
should put him in a wheelchair, and that'll be his story, his backstory is
That'd be.
he's crippled, but he's like a crippled ninja.
I think he's
And
mentally
they just
crippled.
he's
They are so bad.
compromised.
And it's like there's always like a young hot chick who's his love interest. I'm like, you're a fat slob, dude. Like no one's gonna like it's the Thai supermodel who he's saving, and she falls in love with him. And, yeah, really, dude? Like that's never happening. Literally, that's never happening.
What? I mean, does ChatGPT write the script and then he just goes with
Most
it?
likely,
Or
it is
what?
most likely right. And
Yeah.
Chat GPT probably
Yeah, you did.
choreographed
Nailed
the
it.
fight scene. I did nail it. The fight. You'll be sitting in a swivel chair to try to hide your gut. 7 people will run at you, and you will deflect them and karate chop them all in a
But
row.
one at a time.
Okay. Yeah, one at a time. Right. Yeah.
7 people will attack you one at a time.
And then
They
you
could
will.
easily just walk around behind you and choke you to death.
Oh, correct, but that's it's a swivel chair. And then he will slap. He'll slap you around, and you'll trip and fall on the floor. And
It's a
then we'll cut the scene.
it's a swivel chair like that. That increases his mobility so
Yeah.
much.
It's dude.
If it was a normal chair, he'd be screwed.
I can't explain enough how bad these movies are. Like you could do a better movie easily.
I think we should. Let's start doing fight movies.
And
Just have ChatGPT write the script.
they'll do the fight scene from like the camera, like there'll just be a camera staring right at him, and then you'll just see his hands flying, like different karate chops and slapping and moves. I'm like, dude,
So
there's no one even in front of you. Like the hands are just going and you're like, oh damn, the dude's hitting them 20 times in a second. And I'm like, you just made that up. They're like, there's no one there. It is
sounds
bad.
enthralling. It sounds
No,
like
but
half of the Netflix films that
yeah.
are out there now.
So he's a Putin nut hugger. Yeah, he's
He
a
is. He's
wannabe
terrible.
Russian. He's taking propaganda videos and pictures of him in destroyed Ukrainian towns.
Jesus.
Yeah, he's a true POS.
Yeah, he sucks. Steven Seagal sucks. Well, anyways, I watched most of the parade. Like I fast forwarded. I went to the vehicles. I'm like, okay, you got a bunch of vehicles.
Whatever.
I did not see any teen Armada tanks
Whoa,
this year.
I thought that was
I
the
didn't
way
see any.
ahead for him.
I think they're backing off that. They're
Why?
trying to ignore
Why?
that because
Why?
they suck and they don't actually work.
Why?
Because they suck. It's a scam. It was a
So the Armada.
military-industrial
So
complex
the
scam.
deal was right that the turret was fully automated, right, and there were no
Yeah.
humans in it.
Yeah.
So you
The
less
humans-
casualties.
Seems from the pictures that I looked at this morning, it seems like the humans are down in the hull, like in the front of the hull. So there's a tank commander, and then there's a driver, and I don't know if there's a gunner down there too. So
Yeah, right. Everything's automated.
yeah.
I mean, the Russians have been going towards automation. All their stuff is auto loaders. The T-72 is so small because of all the auto stuff. There's like, what, 3 guys in the tank?
Mhm.
And the Russian tanks are considered very small compared to Western tanks. Western tanks have 4-man crews. Russian tanks have 3-man crews because they got an auto loader. But then, therefore, that means that their magazine, as we know, goes along the top of the hull
Mhm.
in the crease with the turret, because that's where the autoloader gets it. And that's why all those drones hitting the crease, cause catastrophic explosions.
Make those tanks disappear. They just disappear. They're not even there anymore.
That they
Hey-
don't have blowout panels and things. Stuff that Western tanks have, they just don't have.
But those,
Super constant.
those tanks were designed, 35, 40 years ago. The basic design of
yeah,
the
a long
tank
time
hasn't
ago.
changed much.
No, not much.
We've added reactive armor for a time that sufficed, but now you're going to have to design something completely different. it's going to have to be completely different, like 1 foot off the ground. I don't even. How would you design a tank now if you could start from scratch, knowing what
I
you
wouldn't.
know?
Yeah, I wouldn't. It's a waste of
Just
money and
just
resources.
don't.
Yeah,
Just
it's a
don't.
waste of money and resources. So you can't wish away the RMA in ubiquitous drone warfare. So many people wish things away that they have no answer for. So, a producer of tank, tell me what your answer is to 10 drones coming in at you, dropping 60 millimeter mortar rounds on you directly above, outside your EW bubble, coming in at angles, sitting on the ground in ambush, waiting for you to come by, fiber optic cables that you can't jam. Tell me your counter drone answers for your $5 million tank. Tell me what it is. But are you going to be like the dude who the
It's
video
a
we saw
laser. It's a laser beam.
on a shark? So is it going to be like the
Lasers.
dude who's gone viral? Whoa, our Cab Scouts forward are going to deal with, like, you're just going to tell me some nonsense because you
Your
haven't thought this through?
infantry is going to screen, or your light,
Yeah, no,
you
they're not.
know, your mechanized infantry, maybe your Humvee mounted or whatever,
Right.
light mounted infantry, slightly mobile, which is even less protected than the tank.
So you're getting some of these drones are getting ranges up to 20 Ks. You're not screening out 20 clicks, bro. Like, our tanks will be 30 clicks back. We'll never have them on the flot. Okay, then what
You're
good are they?
you're almost instantly on the flot. Like, your assembly area is almost on the flot now. So you can't mass for an assault.
Right.
The flot is already, what do we say, almost 15 kilometers wide
On either
and
side?
on either side. So you're out 7.5 kilometers from the bad guys. Uh, how far back are you going to assemble a tank that gets
Right. Right.
1 mile to the gallon?
Yeah,
The
right.
Abrams tank gets 1 to 2 miles to the gallon. Like, how far back are you going to assemble and drop them off heads and start your approach on a tank? 50 kilometers? Well, that means by the time you get to the flot, you've wasted half your gas, your JPA. I
It's a
think tanks, our tanks
it's a problem. The
are
flot
dual.
has expanded.
We have dual tanks.
You can't be like, well, I'm a mile back, I'm good in an assembly area. That concept has been eroded.
Yeah,
You've
I
got a
don't know.
problem. So I want to tie this into a tactical observation. I watched the estimated Russian losses every day. Russian tank losses are in the single digits. There's like no tanks on the flot anymore. I think yesterday was like, I don't know, like 5 on a 1,000-kilometer front. 5 tanks were hit because they don't use them anymore. The Russians
Yeah.
don't use them. They're just a drone
Those
magnet.
those tanks were probably found.
Sure.
Those tanks were in a garage 50 kilometers behind the front, and the Ukrainians just, did a long range strike on that garage somewhere. I don't see the Russians driving tanks on assaults. Maybe they're using them as artillery, and then they got found
Sad.
being artillery pieces.
Sad.
Yeah, you got a $5 million 120 millimeter smoothbore artillery piece that doesn't do anything well. Definitely can't be a good artillery. I mean, I don't know a lot about artillery, but I can't imagine that's not the artillery of choice.
Right. There's a lot of examples of Russia using their tanks as improvised artillery. Yeah, of course it isn't. Of course it's not ideal. It's not meant for that. But that shows you what a drop in utility of the tank there has been. And the U.S. just wants to wish it away, that somehow will magically have an answer to, just drones everywhere 7 days a week. To me, it looks like we wished it away.
Yeah, there's a lot of individuals that want that tank to survive. There's a lot of influence,
We're vested in
lobbyists.
it. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
vested in
yeah.
the tank.
And it's an easy argument to make. You need protected mobility and firepower on the battlefield. You need that, right? You got to have it. Or what are you doing? What are you doing out
I
there?
don't think you do. What's a tank do for you now? So what was a tank designed for originally? Breakthrough against infantry because it's armored and you had machine guns. Ostensibly, the Javelin does away with that. There's no tank that survives a Javelin. The handheld launched $100,000 missile, whatever. Now you look at World War One with the breakthrough of German lines with tanks, blah blah
Mhm.
blah. They didn't have handheld anti-tank guided missile systems. We do now. So
Yeah.
you're not overmatching infantry anymore. And then also, then it used to be what tanks kill tanks. Well, you need
Mhm.
a tank to kill a tank. Got you. And maybe that worked in World War II. Now you use a drone to kill a tank. There's like almost no tank on tank warfare in Ukraine. There was more in the beginning, right? And there's videos of it. I got it. Even then, it was very infrequent. And,
Mhm.
and there's this very little armored vehicle on armored vehicle warfare in this because of the freaking drones.
Yeah. The drones and the missiles. You mentioned the missiles.
Yeah,
It's like,
the
you,
javelin takes out everything.
yeah. Look at just from a size, weight, and power analysis of the tank versus the javelin. So the javelin
Right,
has progressively gotten better. We went from the law to the AT4 to the
right.
javelin,
The
right?
law
Like
was,
the law was basically a bazooka, right? It
yeah,
was like a
yeah,
light,
yeah. It was bad.
loud infantry disruption weapon, basically. But you see the evolution of the anti tank
Yeah,
missile
right. Absolutely.
and you're like, wow, how are you going to get the tank shooting farther to get out of the range of the javelin, which is a fire and forget
Can't. Yeah, you
weapon?
can't. Yeah, you're right. You
What are
don't
you going to
even
do
know.
against that?
You
What are you
can't
going to
even
do with it?
see a guy shooting you because there's the thing about the TOW missile for years. Well, you're going to launch the TOW and they're going to see you and they're going to shoot you with their machine gun, and then you're not going to be able to concentrate anymore, and the TOW will fly into the ground. Like there was
Mhm.
that
Yeah,
thought that's gone. Like even
yeah.
that was thought is probably fantasy too. Um, but but
Y-
now that's gone. You fire a javelin from the
Yeah,
window of a building, and then you run and hide in the basement, and
yeah.
it hits you almost 99% of the time.
Because a tank or an armored vehicle or even an MRAP or anything big like that, it's got a visual signature that
Right,
the computer vision knows that's a tank. You're
right.
not fooling it. Even with a cope cage on it that's twice the size of the tank, you're not fooling anybody. That thing flies on its own. It sees the object on its own. It hits it from the top on its own. We've just crested a hill when it comes to technology with missiles and the drones. And what are you going to do? Make a giant tank? Are you going to make a 300 millimeter main gun tank that
It doesn't
shoots
help you.
20 miles? Like, what do you?
That's called artillery.
Yeah, I'm just making shit up. I
Yeah,
don't
right.
know.
You're in a yeah. So the tank is dead in this environment. At least the environment of Ukraine, the tank offers you nothing. And we saw Russia try to respond to that. Well, we put rollers on it and they do minefield duties. Okay, that's probably legitimate.
Yeah,
Well, then you
now
don't need
you
to.
have a $5 million
Yeah, mine clear. You don't need
tractor.
a turret
You have
on
a
it. Yeah, it's a
$5 million
tractor.
dollar tractor.
Right. And then they tried to just put armored stuff around it and have guys hide underneath. So you turn it into an APC. Okay. Like
In
I got them trying to modify it, but they're realizing there's no utility for this.
Look, the Russians are morons, right? But not every Russian in the Kremlin is a moron. They've
Sure.
been working on the Russian Empire has been working on this problem for 3 years. Like intensely.
What did they come up with? What did they come
They've
up with?
come up with nothing. The
I
Kremlin
agree.
and
I
the
don't think they
Russian
came up with
Empire
anything.
has been severely focused on how do we get these tanks to assault through all this crap, and they've come up with nothing. And the United States Army doesn't give a shit because they're not at war and they have not been working on it, but the Russians have, and probably the Ukrainians and the Eastern Europeans because it means a lot more to them. So they're more vested in trying to come up with a solution. And if the Kremlin can't come up with a solution in 3 years, there might not be a solution. I don't want to give them too much credit, but come on.
There may not be a solution, right?
They're not idiots. Not everybody in the Russian army is an idiot. It's fun to
Having said that, I am watching a video of an armored tractor. So this is a tractor, that plows the fields or whatever, does your wheat and corn, with an armored cab around it. Obviously, they welded on armor plating around the cab. Do you believe that helped it like at all?
No, it probably weighed it down and
So it was a
took.
wheeled tractor on a dirt road. And obviously, Ukrainians found it and they whacked it with a couple of drones. But anyways,
Yeah, I mean, like we found out from putting our own armor on Humvees
yeah, right.
that guess
In
what?
Iraq,
That pretty much kills the effective life of that vehicle
doesn't
because
work that well.
it's not that thing's not made to have an extra
It's not made for
2,000
that.
pounds of
Right.
steel welded at
Suspension,
weird places.
transmission.
Yeah.
You have all these problems.
Plus,
Yeah, right.
plus, like, those things are computer designed they're not designed to have some random amount of weight in random positions on the vehicle. And so like it's supposed to be balanced, the whole vehicle's balanced. Yeah, it's just a terrible idea. It seems like a good idea. You want to be protected from 50 caliber
Right.
whatever. Yeah, so put it 2 inches of steel all around the vehicle. Yeah, it works. But guess what? The life of that vehicle is
It's
nothing.
yeah, right. Exactly.
You're not getting anything out of that.
Yeah, man, I love seeing that tractor, the armored homemade tractor cruising on the open dirt road in the middle of a field. As soon as you're seen, you are dead, bro. You are dog meat.
What do you think that tractor's supposed to be doing? Is it supposed to be just carrying logistics or
Yeah,
troops
it
or
was hauling something. Looked like they were towing logs with it.
Hey, I
Obviously, if you're
came
sitting
up with
on the
I came
engine,
up with the next tank. This is what the military industrial complex should focus on.
send it.
You know those big the boring company,
Yes.
those giant things with the drill in the front,
Right, right.
and they just dig these giant tunnels. Maybe that's what we're going to. Giant tunnel digging tanks, and they dig up and they come up out of the ground, they shoot, and then they go back under the ground. How about that? Can we do that?
That could work. We would have to
It's
do a
just
feasibility study.
it's just crazy enough to work. Can we
It's
get
crazy enough to work.
Oshkosh
Oh,
by
you know you
gosh
could. You know
on
you
that
could.
on that problem?
Oh yeah, they'd jump on that. You know
Oh
that.
yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't matter if they could do it or not. They'd
They
jump
would
on
love
that.
nothing more. Okay, we need 14 billion to build a prototype, and then we're going to sell these each for 100 million a piece.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, yeah, they would love that.
Since this is War Weave Friday and we basically
Yeah,
can do no wrong,
we can say
man,
whatever we want.
yeah, I'm looking at a
We're
picture
above the
of that.
law.
We are, oh, well played, sir.
Thanks.
Because I'm looking at a picture of that asshat, Steven Seagal, from his first movie, Above the Law, which was a good movie, by the way. This dude is with some Russian guy. I guess the Russian guy's been whacked. But there's a picture of him. He's like in his Dalai Lama suit, fake dyed hair, fake um, goatee. He's wearing like a robe. But yeah, he's in Russia and he's supporting the war. Um,
He's a terrible person. What a terrible person. Hey,
yeah, he is a
I
complete and total asshat.
get back to the parade today. I was looking at the drones, and basically the Russian drones that they had on display in the parade were, it looked like it was just an Orlan, which is the
Right.
propeller ISR thing. The Lancet drones, which are the X-wing long
I'm
loitering
watching this right now. I'm
kamikaze
watching it.
drones.
Yeah. I'm watching a video of the parade right now with the drones are on the back of a truck on display.
Yeah. And they had the Shahed, the
Yeah.
Garin 2. They didn't have the Garin 3 drones, which I thought was interesting. They didn't
What?
have the jet-powered. They didn't have
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah.
jet-powered Shaheds, the
They
Garin
got the
3.
Lancets. They got the Shaheds.
And I think the
Oh,
other one
yeah.
was an Orlan, I
And
think.
it's funny. They're like in the flatbed trucks from like World War II.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I'm like, okay, dude. Yeah, what a nothing of a parade. You're 4 years into a war
Yeah.
that you can't possibly win, but you're going to sit here and talk shit on
So,
May 9th about what a great
Putin
military power you are. That's sad.
Putin looked pretty good, though. He looked pretty
Well,
sprite.
he uses like a gallon of Botox a day, right? He's the Botox king.
I think that would kill you. Isn't Botox?
No, he's not drinking it, dude. He's putting it in his face.
Botox is botulism? Is it botulism?
Dude, you know nothing about the
Hold on.
plant.
I'm going to check. Botox is botulism. It's like a deadly poison that's been weakened. So if you drink a gallon of botulism, I'm
Dude,
pretty sure.
he's not drinking it. He's putting it in his face to make himself look younger. This isn't a poison I'm talking about.
You said Botox. It's not botulism, but it's derived from the botulinum toxin, a neurotoxin
Right.
created by
Botox is a
bacteria.
cosmetic and medical treatment involving injections of botulinum toxin or neurotoxin to specific muscles to temporarily reduce wrinkles and treat various medical conditions. Putin is the Botox king.
Hmm.
You didn't know that? Yeah, he looks good because of all his cosmetics and stuff to make himself look younger.
But he didn't look frail, or he looked
Right.
normal. Like fine,
Here,
he was fine. He was
here's an
talking to
article.
she. Yeah.
Surgeons claim that Putin's face is filled with Botox.
What'd you
His
say? An
face,
article? Did you
his
say an
face.
article?
Surgeons
Here's an
claim
article.
Surgeons claim that Putin's face is filled with Botox. Putin's face appears bloated. Yeah, he's got a fat face. Now, you can't confuse this with his body doubles. Some of his body doubles are bad. They're pretty bad.
Yeah.
Some of them don't even look like him. You're like, come on, bro. We know it's not you.
Yeah, I call him Putin 2 and Putin 3. Like the ones that went to Chechnya. That
Oh,
dude that
yeah.
went to Chechnya, that
Oh, that
was
wasn't him.
that was not Putin. That was not Putin. Yeah. Well, I believe it, but Putin looked good. He didn't look like he was frail. He's 72 years old. I
72.
think I think Trump is 78 and Biden is
79.
82 or 83. So look, Putin's got a long way to go, right?
Right.
He's still got some kick in him. This regime change fantasy that Putin has cancer, he's going to die. Maybe not in the next 10 years. Can you live with Putin for 10 years?
We'll
More of the
see.
same.
Well, actually, from a cold, calculating national security balance of power perspective, maybe it's best that he is there because he will continue to run his military and economy into the ground until he dies. You couldn't ask for a better villain, dedicated to a losing war, killing and maiming millions of your own citizens. Your economy is tanking. All money goes to the Defense Department. You got a guy who's willingly doing this. That probably could be a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe.
From a
I mean,
cold, calculating, how do you get Russia to run themselves into a ground and willingly walk off a geopolitical cliff? He's doing it.
I guess the question there is it better to stop this war and try to, fix the Russian issue in Europe? Or is it better to let them just implode? I guess that's the question, because I'm sure some people fall out on both sides. Like war is inherently destabilizing for the economies, for the global security.
It doesn't get you anything. It's a black hole. It's a black hole economy that gets you nothing. It's a complete waste of resources. All that stuff that could have been done for something useful. But then again, that would be assuming humanity isn't utterly stupid. But he is willingly walking his military off a cliff. From a global power perspective, if you want to weaken Russia, he's doing exactly what you would want him to do. Okay, let me just continue to destroy my military. So this is okay. I'm gonna, because it's war weave and I can do whatever the fuck I want today.
Weaver, go.
Watching a video of the Russian soldier on an electric scooter that was supposed to design going down a sidewalk on a university, but he's on the middle of a grassy field with it. Like how's the traction on that, dude? That's meant for a sidewalk. And then of course he
Is
just
it
eats a
armored?
drone. No,
Is it an armored scooter?
No, this is the only thing the Russians didn't armor. Their electric scooter bought from Best Buy, meant for on the sidewalks of a college. This dude's like in the middle of a grassy field. My scooter's not working good. And then he just eats a freaking 20-pound drone that blows him to freaking next week. Good Lord. So that's what you got Putin doing. You got guys out here in electric scooters from Best Buy. I'm trying to fight a war on this. And you're getting annihilated, dude. And like
Yeah.
this is the mighty Russian state fighting on electric scooters that
Yeah.
you
What
bought illegally on Alibaba. I mean, what the fuck we doing?
you think it's illegal to buy scooters on Alibaba in Russia?
I don't know if they're under
I think it's okay.
sanctions.
Do you
This
think
is
the
probably
Chinese
came through
care?
Kazakhstan. No, of course they don't care.
They don't care.
I literally saw this guy launched into space. Literally, this
What?
dude got launched into space on
You
his
don't mean
scooter.
literally. So he
He's
literally
in low
achieved
Earth.
orbit.
Yeah, he's in low Earth orbit right now. After that thing hit him, whatever hit him was big. Oh, it
Yeah.
was big. Whatever hit him.
Yeah, I don't understand what the plan is moving forward for the Russians. I feel like they've
I
got
don't
to
think
go
they
to
have one.
ground. They've
Right,
got to go to
dig in.
ground soon.
Right.
They've got to. They've got to stop the madness. I mean, I guess in theory they could keep going, and we've seen the casualty numbers gradually decrease, and I think that's
But
because
they're
yeah,
hovering though about 1,300 a day. 1,200, 1,300 a day is about what they're taking now for casualties.
yeah, they're not
Yeah,
in the
down
heyday,
from 2,000. Right, down from 2,000 a
right?
day. Right,
Yeah, so they're. I mean, that was the peak. I
right.
think we've been seeing on average about 1,500, but yeah, they've slightly decreased.
I mean, those aren't small numbers. I mean, we've been so desensitized, by the level of war. If they're taking 1,200 casualties a day, that's 438,000 annually. That's not a small number.
No, even if they took 1,000 casualties a day, they would probably be right there as far as recruiting replacement. I think
Right,
it's about, it's about they're recruiting about 35,000 a month,
right,
no problem, and they have been.
right.
So their replacement rate is about, a, anything over 1,000 a day is probably too bad for them.
I'm watching an interesting video, fiber optic drone,
Mhm.
Ukrainian perspective, flying this fiber optic drone into this some kind of long agricultural building. It's probably used to store agricultural products. But the
Yeah.
Russians have trucks in there,
Hmm.
wheeled trucks in there with cope cages on it.
Yeah.
And the little drone flies into the open door and then blows up several of these vehicles.
I saw that video,
Oh, you
and
did?
and the drone he was basically like looking around and
Yes.
be like, "Hey, what do we got here?" And
Right.
then he'd fly to the back and he looked at the
Yes.
vehicles and he was doing reconnaissance, but by force because
But
then
then
he
he hit
blew it
him.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
When he was done, he picked one and then he picked the
Yeah,
gas tank of that one
right. Oh,
and
you
he
did
hit it
see
right
this.
on the gas tank. Yeah, I saw
Get out of
that
my
video.
mind, bro. It's like you're watching it with me right now.
That was a couple days ago.
Yeah,
But yeah, I
it was a
remember it.
couple days ago. Yeah,
Hey,
but
yeah.
pretty interesting that, the drone flies into the building. Did you close up every door to this place, every window, every hole in the roof? Like this guy was going to get in. There's so many holes in this building to get into.
Yeah.
I'm like, what else? What else could you do to hide this? Like this is the best hiding spot you're going to get. And it didn't matter. And that's why they got logistical problems because you can't even bring in trucks anymore. That's why guys are, like Andrew said, each guy put a landmine in each hand, walk forward.
Yeah. Well, you can prevent some of that buffoonery, right? Like that video, that should not have happened. You have to put nets, like you said,
You
you
have to
have to
put
close
nets
up all
over
the windows, close up
everything.
all the openings.
There's holes in the roof because of artillery. You'd have to do a mesh net repair job on the whole building, and then
Yeah, but
keep
it's
all the
not
doors shut.
expensive. It's not hard. It's not expensive. You can
Well,
put
climb on the roof,
you can
but
put garbage up there. It doesn't
you'd have
just
to
put
have
anything to
netting.
cover the holes.
But
Yeah.
if you know vehicles are in there, then you just blow a hole in the door, and then the next drone flies in.
Yeah, you could. Or if you're the Russians, you could just keep putting garbage in front of that hole. You blow a hole, stick another, some of those drones carry a lot of explosive power. So I guess it depends on how far away this warehouse is.
Pretty big explosion when he hit that I mean, pretty big explosion for a truck. I mean,
Yeah.
that thing's burning for reals. Yeah, difficult
So,
problem. Real
so
difficult problem set.
since we're talking about how difficult drones are, there was an article. I think I sent you this. Sorry, it was actually on Twitter, but it's probably real. Irish police force captures a
Yeah,
drone carrying explosives in
yeah.
Dublin.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it was a Mavic drone, according to the video, and I'm looking at it right now. It was a Mavic drone, just a regular $1,000 drone, and it had an bomb on it that had a mechanical timer, like a egg
Right.
timer,
Yeah, I was
which,
like, "What?"
you know, yeah,
I didn't know what I was looking at. I'm like, "What am I looking at here?"
yeah. So it has begun. This is all it takes, right? It doesn't take much more than this. If you can get your hands on some viable explosive material,
But
and
you show how far
there you go.
behind they are technologically,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
they're
This is very
starting to mess with
unsophisticated,
this. Yeah, very unsophisticated. They're starting to, but they're trying to figure it out.
but the concept is out of the bottle now.
The concept is out of the
The
bottle. Yeah.
idea of cheap Chinese drones that anyone in America can buy online
Yes. And I did.
on Amazon.com.
Yeah, I bought a DJI drone, a mini drone.
Yeah, and they have the capability of that thing is amazing, right? It's got computer vision on it. It knows, it can follow you around automatically. There's a lot of technology in that $1,000 DJI Mavic drone.
Yeah, right.
And so you put a bomb and you fly it and that's it. Nobody's going to be prepared for that. I mean, yeah, at at the White House, they have electronic warfare suites, and in the president's motorcade, they have electronic warfare suites that will jam this. What about your state capitol building? You think your state capitol building
Right.
has electronic warfare suites
No,
to drop drones? No.
no
You
way.
can fly that thing right in the front door, or how about a courthouse? Any courthouse in America, you're
Right.
disgruntled because you just got a summons for jury duty. You want to
Oh boy.
you want to swing that little DJI Mavic drone right there in the front of the courthouse. Whatever. I think this the Chinese drone might be the end of democracy as we know it.
Oh boy, that's a big statement.
Once people start using these stupid drones, these little drones, to create havoc in municipalities across America, then we're all going to be a martial law and you can kiss democracy goodbye. And it was all because of these little drones that nobody paid attention to. Nobody's really even thinking about this stuff, right?
Well, it doesn't
It,
apply to us. We just wish it away.
no, no. Nobody wants to think about warfare until it comes knocking at your front door. Nobody wants to think about things that are going on.
I'm watching a, a video here. Again, I can say whatever the fuck I want today.
You sure
Um,
can.
Dude, War Week Friday is actually brilliant because it allows for a stream of consciousness and no intelligent thought. So that's a
That's
great
right.
idea by you.
It's perfect
Watching
for us.
for us, watching a video of a Ukrainian bomb hitting a field ammo dump by the Russians. Now, something we haven't talked about too much. Obviously, we have seen the continuous erosion of Russian ADA capability in the field.
Mhm.
Like as soon as you see, like there was a 80, I think some sort of ADA system was hit yesterday. That's one of the most consistent things. Russian artillery is still getting whacked in large numbers. That's the
Right.
single biggest loss is Russian artillery now. Now that the tank and armored fighting vehicle has largely been removed from the battlefield and is just a drone magnet, now they're focusing on Russian artillery. Russian artillery is getting whacked in large numbers that they cannot sustain. But also, air defense has been getting whacked consistently. That's a priority target for the Ukrainians. You see an air defense artillery system, it is all hands on deck. You're like, bro, every tech UAV, FPV bro along the flot is like, hold my beer, bro. They're
Oh
like, let's
yeah.
get that book. Like, it's
Yeah.
a race to who can smoke that thing first.
How many points you get for a book?
Is it 50?
You probably get a bunch, right? You
50,
destroy a
yeah.
you probably get like 100 points for a book. Or
That's
like
a
an S400 is like
yeah
300 points. You take
priority target.
And that's the lack of deconfliction in the Ukrainian armed forces. Everybody's going to go for that, right?
Everybody, like, I want that.
Every brigade is going to try to hit that thing. And
But
so,
that's okay. That's the incentive system. Like, let's smoke this thing like it's our job. But
so
they
if I'm
have eroded, I think they've eroded significant amounts of Russian ADA capability, like tactical. I think they've eroded most of it. But anyway, so the point I'm getting to, there's a video of an airstrike on a Russian field ammunition dump. Why can you do it? Because their air defense has been so eroded. I am sure there are more holes in the flot
So
that
you
you could
think it's a
fly
Russian?
a ship through.
It's a Ukrainian Air Force
Right.
plane, F-16 or MiG-29.
They're calling it a MiG, dropping a bomb. I don't know, is a glide bomb, whatever, on a Russian field ammunition site because there's no air defense anymore. It's been
We
shredded.
we need an Ukrainian air power update. Like we need to
Yeah, we
know
do. Yeah, you're right.
Rusi or somebody needs to come out with a updated. This is Ukrainian air power because
Yeah, where are we at?
we've lost the bubble on that because they've got what Typhoon fighters now. They've got F-16s. They've got their indigenous MiG-29s. What is the status of the Ukrainian Air Force right now? I'm curious. I
Yeah,
want to
I
know.
don't know. I'm going to say it's small, it's limited, it can't do much. It's got to stay off the flot. But
Oh,
it seems
sorry,
like,
Mirage. Did I say Typhoon fighters? I think they're
yeah,
Mirage. I don't think they have
French. Well,
I
if
don't
it's
think they have
French,
Typhoons.
if it's French, it's good.
Yeah, they definitely have Mirage. 1,000.
So, but we've seen more and more reporting lately of airstrikes. Now, that's something I'm of the opinion Ukraine would have to do much more of at a much higher volume, part of their deep strike that they just don't have right now.
Yeah.
But for 3 years, they've been eroding Russian air defense. And for Russian air defense to be effective, right, it's got to be with a certain distance of the flot.
Mm-hmm.
Like you
Yeah.
said, what, the Stinger is what, a 7-kilometer range? I think roughly.
The Stinger air defense missile can detect targets at 10 kilometers,
Okay.
but it can only engage targets at 7 kilometers. And it depends on what model it is. I guess that's the model that the Ukrainians have.
So 7 kilometers. So
yeah.
let's say, the Russians, what's the range of their ADA? 7 kilometers, 10 kilometers, 12
Like
kilometers?
a Strela, like a
What
little
is it?
manpad? I don't know, probably less.
But what about their wheeled vehicle? What's the Buk? What's the range of a Buk?
ChatGPT. I'm gonna say it's 100 kilometers.
Really?
No, a Buk? Yeah. That thing is like 1970s technology, but it's a big missile, man. 30 miles.
Well,
What did I
why
say?
are they flying? Why are the Buks so close to the flot?
How
Are
many
they trying to
kilometers?
get,
30 miles. Was I right on?
what'd you say, 50 kilometers?
No, I said 100 kilometers.
Oh, yes, half
You
that.
said 30 miles.
Bro, 50 kilometers is 31 miles. But why do they got them so close to the
Sorry.
flot?
Okay.
Is it because they're
Yeah.
trying to range deep? They're trying to
Sorry.
get Ukrainians deep, behind the flot. I think that's why they would do it. But they're getting served up left and right.
They're probably trying to do some kind of air ambush on these
Yeah, right.
F-16s and these
That's what I would
Mirages.
think. Yeah, right. But it's putting you within drone range. Like the drones are whacking you.
It's a risk-reward curve.
Yeah, right.
And it's
Right.
interesting, as the Ukrainians start using their Air Force more across the flot or at the flot, then you're going to see more of these Russian air defense systems trying to be surreptitiously moved
Right.
forward so they can air ambush these guys. Eventually, we're going to see the VKS, the Russian Air Force, come into play here. It's got to, right? Eventually, they're going to have to start interdicting the Ukrainian Air Force with the Russian Air Force. They can't do it just
That's
with.
never,
They just can't do it with air defense systems. They just can't do it. Most of those are surrounding Moscow right now, anyways.
Yeah, as soon as Ukraine even gets a whiff of a Buk, it's all hands on deck. We're coming. We're coming with everything. You
As they
better
should.
You better keep it where we never see you. We can't see you ever. And I think that means you're 30 clicks behind the fly.
Yeah.
30 clicks.
Oh, I don't no, you'd have to be 100 kilometers behind the flood because those ISR birds are going out 30 clicks, no problem.
But then you don't have the range. Well, I
Yeah,
guess
it's a
hence the
conundrum.
problem. I guess that's the problem.
It's a ubiquitous drone warfare.
Okay, we
It's
got a problem.
the tyranny of distance. You've crossed a threshold where the drones can see you and reach you way outside your effective range of that weapon system. So basically, you have
Hence
nothing. You
hence
have
the
nothing.
problem. Yeah. Okay.
Everything's in lockdown. The front is in lockdown right now, everywhere. If you want to go across the flot and assault, fine, you're going to die. But pretty much everything's in lockdown.
Here's an interesting statistic. No way to prove. Reading an article. Man, God, I love War Week Friday. It's like I'm just chilling, dude. Supposedly released from the Ukrainian armed forces, supposedly, that drones struck and destroyed at least 83,000 Russian targets in
Yeah,
April.
yeah, I saw that.
You saw that? Dude,
I
yeah,
think Sersky said that.
yeah, he did. Oh, you're good.
Sersky said
Yeah,
that.
you're good.
That was a couple days ago. Yeah.
Right, it was. They said it was us last week. They said it was
Oh,
up 8% from March.
yeah.
83,000 Russian targets. I'm going to assume that includes soldiers too. I'm not a
So
smart guy.
doing the
Sounds like
math,
that's a lot.
80% of Russian casualties are caused by Ukrainian drones.
Yeah.
We have 15, let's say 1,500 casualties a day. So 1,500 times 30, that many targets. Can't do that's impossible to do that math. But
That- if
okay,
it's
but there you go.
83,000 targets a month, that's 996,000 a year at that rate. To
So
me, that's a
everything.
lot. Yeah, I'm
That's
not a smart
everything.
guy. That sounds like a lot.
It's pretty much everything.
And it's the numbers are going up. Sersky
Yeah.
is like all business. Like the dude doesn't play.
Yeah. I mean, he's no nonsense, straightforward Soviet general, but yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's true. He is. He was trained in Russia and all their higher military schools. I think that and 50 cents will get you a cup of coffee somewhere, maybe. But I think he's proven more adaptive than the opposing side. Like mentally, he's proven pretty adaptive.
I was able to get the internet to do advanced math, and based on 85,000 targets
That's a
hit
lot.
last month, 45,000 of those were just individual
Ground
personnel.
pounders. Great. Yeah. Oh man, just grunts.
Just people.
Just
Just
getting
people.
whacked.
So that means, more significantly, I think, that means Sersky is saying the Ukrainians engaged 40,000 targets that weren't people with drones. That
That adds up though. Yeah. No, yeah, that's right though.
45,000 vehicles, howitzers,
Vehicles. Yep. Mortars.
civilian vehicles, motorcycles.
Scooters.
What?
No, you don't see anymore. You
What's
don't
that?
see any more Chinese golf carts. You don't see them anymore.
Are they all gone? Did we
Maybe have they
destroy all
given
of
up
them?
on them? Have they given up on that? You used to see Chinese golf cart assaults daily. You don't see them anymore.
I think they probably figured that's too much risk because they put 5 guys in those,
At least
right?
5 guys.
So you're losing 5 at a pop.
Oh yeah.
They probably said, you know what? I take my chances on a motorcycle with just one
Yes.
guy. It's more dispersed.
Yes, that's what they've gone to.
Yeah. So they probably just switched to the motorcycle as a doctrine.
Yeah, I think so.
And we talked about that this week, I think earlier, about them actually developing a motorcycle assault doctrine now.
Doctrine, right.
What? Doctrine is best practice on the battlefield. I don't think they have a best practice for motorcycle assaults. You get on the motorcycle, drone sees you, and you die. Is that the best practice?
Well,
Is
like
that the
Andrew said,
doctrine?
drive forward really fast, dispersed manner, hide in basement, and hope some supplies come from a donkey in 2 or 3 days.
Yeah,
Wash, rinse, repeat.
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous what's going on right now. But Putin seemed pretty happy today in the parade, so he must be
Yeah,
good
he
with
put
it.
up a good front. He put up a good strong face of nothing to see here. Everything's great.
We should talk about the Hungarian spy ring inside Ukraine. Did you hear about this?
I did not, sir.
So the SBU, the Ukrainian internal police, for lack of a better term, they
Right.
captured 2 Hungarian spies in Western Ukraine.
Interesting.
Yeah, one of them was former, I want to say former Ukrainian military, the female. Yeah, yeah, it's serious. It's serious. And then, of course, today Hungary expelled 2 Ukrainian diplomats
Yeah, fuck you. So
as
this is
a
proxy spying. Like
yeah.
they can get Hungarians in easier than Russians. If you're a Russian and someone knows you're Russian, right? They're just gonna look at. They're gonna put you under a microscope. Well, I'm Hungarian.
Depends
I'm
on where
not
you are.
Russian. Depends on where
Depends on
you're
where
at.
you
So
are.
if you're in Ukraine, if you're a
No,
Russian trying
man.
to get to Ukraine, I'm looking at you, right?
Nah. Not
No,
if
really?
you're in Odessa, yeah, if you're in Odessa or Kharkiv and you're a Russian, man, you could blend in no problem.
I say blend
0
in, but
problem.
officially they're not letting you in.
Oh, no, no.
I'm
You're
talking
not.
about
Yeah.
border
I see.
patrol,
Yeah,
border
yeah, yeah.
security, going
Sure.
in through airports. Just a Russian on vacation during the war. I said they get a lot of scrutiny. But like, hey, I'm a Hungarian, bro. Going to see my uncle and wherever. Like, okay, that's cool. I'm just going to guess you're under less scrutiny. You're a proxy spy force for
Yeah,
Russia.
sure. I mean, so just to rattle it off, in the south and the west of Ukraine, Ukraine is bordered by Poland, of course, Slovakia, Hungary, Romania, and Moldova. So there's multiple countries that surround the western half of Ukraine,
Right.
and they all have historic claims
Yeah.
to Ukrainian lands.
Yeah. Whatever, dude. Let it go.
Yeah, yeah.
Let it
So
go.
again, so spy rings, stupid Hungarians, Viktor Orban.
Yeah, doing his thing.
Could you ever see Russian troops in Hungary?
Well, they did in '56.
It was terrible. It was terrible, right? That was a failure. The Hungarian uprising in Budapest, right?
Right.
That was a failure of American democracy. We pretty much sat back and did not help them at all.
Well, what are you gonna do? It's Cold War.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Have a Budapest airlift, something, right? You should have
Well,
done
I guess
something.
what airdrop in weapons. I guess.
Sure, yeah, why not? Do Cold War stuff.
Then you had
Do something.
Czechoslovakia and 60. Well, yeah, you're right. Do something, right? I got it.
Do something,
But
man.
you know what? Here we are, many years later. Do something. Russia's invaded Ukraine. All right, bro, do something now. That's where we're at again.
Yeah, how do we just ignore these lessons? It's so frustrating.
Memory
I'm
hole
just
them, forget them.
I'm just almost tired of talking about like you don't remember the Cold War. Okay, that's fine,
Right.
but you know what happened. It's not like
We
the
memory
Library
hold
of
it.
Alexandria was burned down and we don't know what happened in the
Right.
Cold War. Come on. You know.
We wished it
Everybody
away.
knows. Yeah. Anyways,
Okay, I think
um
the listenership needs to tell one close friend, family member, grandparent, listen to the podcast. Call for
listen
action.
to the podcast. Yes, please do.
Highly educational.
We were going to read comments on the air today, and I forgot to do that. I have comments. I just forgot to consolidate them all and read them. I guess we're going to have to wait until next War Weave to do
Yeah.
comments.
Well,
Some
let's
of them
make
are
that
funny.
let's make that a priority next time. In fact, let's do it first.
We'll do it first. Yes.
I want
Okay.
people just blasting us.
I'm disappointed I forgot to do the thing.
I
By the
want
way,
dudes going off on us. I want them losing their shit on us. And by that, I mean you.
Great. Yes. If
Bad
you've listened,
language.
if
Yeah,
you
right.
have sat through this podcast today and you made it to
Enjoy.
the end, you made it all the way to this point, you get an Easter egg. You get a surprise. If you've made it this far in the podcast today, I'm going to give you an Easter egg surprise. That we have an announcement that Monday's podcast will be me sitting down with a retired CIA officer, John Cipher.
Wow.
I've already recorded it with John. It's a good podcast coming Monday. Yes.
Wow. That is a treat.
John Cipher, CIA, Monday on
He's
the
gonna
Flash
drop.
Traffic
He's gonna
podcast. Lots of spook knowledge. We talked about a bunch of stuff. Yeah. Anyway,
highly classified.
yes, he gives away all the secrets. He tells us about the Kennedy assassination
Okay.
and the moon
Good
landing.
news.
All good stuff.
All right.
All good
I'll
stuff.
be tuned in.
All right. Yes, good. Yes, do listen. All right. Good chat. Have a good weekend. See you next week. Bye-bye.
See you, listenership. Bye-bye.
The Flash Traffic Podcast.